Here we go again. Here we freaking go again. Ah!
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Loop and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter X at JD Sports Radio. You can follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. Want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Also, can find us on YouTube if you haven't done that yet. Come on by. Come by, like, subscribe, comment, interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted, because this is a show serving the cursed Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers, you join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right. For many years, people claim that the Cardinals use something they called devil magic. You've probably heard this phrase before. The Cardinals used it. They had the rights to it. They used it to remain contenders in Major League Baseball. They used it to spark amazing comebacks and crush the souls of their opponents. Even today, if you talk to one of the Locked On hosts from the teams in the NL Central, Pirates, Brewers, Cubs, Reds, you talk to them. Despite curb stomping the Redbirds last year into oblivion, like non-contenders last year, awful year, those hosts will still tell you how skeptical they are of saying anything bad about the Cardinals or their players. They continue to show much respect to the St. Louis Cardinals organization. They never rule them out, despite a lot of the Cardinals fan base already predicting a bad season for the team. It seems like people outside of St. Louis think more highly of what the Cardinals are and have done than their own fan base from time to time. And maybe all the years of the devil magic is starting to catch up with the Cardinals, because last year, if you remember, we got destroyed early on by injuries to members of the outfield. Tyler O'Neill went down. Lars Nootbaar went down. Dylan Carlson went down. And now, this year, it's happening again. Tommy Edman and Lars Nootbaar already out. We know that. And just when I started to believe that Dylan Carlson could or would be something again here in 2024, I'm right at the front of the hype train. I'm like, yes, bring me all the DC we can handle this year. Now Dylan Carlson might be gone again too. Dylan, the latest victim of whatever voodoo that has besieged the Cardinals outfield over the last 2 years, he could be gone. Collided with Jordan Walker today in their game in the outfield during their second to last spring training game against the Cubs. For those of you who weren't watching the game today, let me break down the play for you. Bottom of the second inning, Cubs second baseman Nico Hoerner, good player, hits a drive into the right center field gap. Carlson's in center, Walker's in right. Both men converge on the ball. Walker ends up diving for the ball, trying to make the play at the very last second. Carlson continuing to run. The diving Walker, who's a monster, obviously 6'6", 250, takes out the legs of Dylan Carlson, who then tumbles onto the warning track, landing on the left side of his body. Neither of them caught the ball. And it was Walker who had to get up and retrieve it, tosses it back in. But that was hardly the main focus of what was going on there after this had happened, because Dylan Carlson stayed down on the play. He sat up. He was sitting up on the warning track, and then ended up kind of, he kind of rolls to his side a little bit. He kind of slumps over. Walker comes over to him. Brendan Donovan comes over to him. They're checking on him. Seems like he's going to be okay. But still in Carlson. And he gets hurt a lot. And my immediate fear was, after you see the collision, was that he had injured his right knee or ankle when Walker collided with his lower body, which sent him flailing to the earth. Like, just took him out. You know how, like, in a football game, and you'll see everybody just kind of standing on the sideline, and then a player gets knocked over and slides into him like bowling pins? It was kind of like that. Carlson goes tumbling. The trainer, manager Oli Marmol, they come out to check on him. Carlson gets removed from the game, and it was later reported that he suffered a left shoulder injury. Afterwards, I tweeted, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And one person actually responded to it saying, is it though? And after a few moments to think about it, I guess, no, not really. It is believable. It's been the Cardinals and Carlson's luck the last couple of seasons together that something unfortunate like this would happen to ruin the positive momentum that Carlson had built up recently. The dude had found his stroke. He looked good. He was hitting with power, swinging with intent. Wasn't just flailing at the ball outside of the strike zone. He had confidence. And then 3 friggin' days before the season opener in LA, where he was going to be the starting center fielder for your St. Louis Cardinals, this happens. John Denton at MLB.com reported that following the play that ended his day, Carlson walked to the clubhouse with his left arm and shoulder drooping, and he was clearly dejected. I've been reading Dylan Carlson body language for a couple of years now. He doesn't look like he's all that excited to be around anything in the first place, but if he's noticeably dejected, it tells you something's wrong. And when I hear that a shoulder is drooping, first thing I think about, dislocation, maybe a separation, one of the two. I'm no doctor, but that's what my mind thinks of. I've dealt with that injury before playing ball. And I remember when it popped out and like I couldn't even move it. I was just like, it was just like stuck there. Like it was just numb. And then I was able to kind of and knock it back in. But I mean, it all swelled up and I wasn't worth a you know what for a few days at least. So the Cardinals will await the results of x-rays and an MRI before anything will be announced, but we've been down this road before. Do any of you feel confident that this is not going to shelve him for a little bit? History tells us that it will probably come back with some sort of bad news. We're hoping that it's not anything too serious, like a fracture or something like that. You know, nothing with the collarbone or just the shoulder area in general. You're hoping it's just some sort of mild separation or something like that, which, you know, he can heal from. But, I mean, sucks, man. Sucks. I was all in on Dylan Carlson. Like, it's crazy to me that these things keep happening to the Cardinals outfield. It's wild. Jordan Walker and Oli spoke with the media about the injury after the game. I'll tell you what they had to say next about it on Locked On Cardinals. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tournament, whether you're betting on a big upset or you're going to stick with those number 1 seeds. It's time to go dancing on America's number 1 sports book. Now, the women's games were going on tonight. I was watching Caitlin Clark earlier. Her and her team, Iowa, survived against West Virginia. It was a very good game. Those women, kind of wild out there on the court, man. Things are out of control from time to time, but it was fun. It was fun to watch. The men's games will be back underway later this week. Thursday is when they'll start up again with all 4 number 1 seeds and all 4 number 2 seeds still in it. Hasn't been a lot of upsets so far, like major upsets. Lowest seed still around, number 11 NC State, which I may not have said it on this podcast, but I predicted it in my brackets that I had them going to the Sweet 16. They were coming in hot. They will face the number 2 seed Marquette. And if your brackets are a mess, then why don't you come on over to FanDuel where you can bet on singular games and still win money. So if you made a bunch of mistakes in your brackets, that money's toast, man. Light it up, throw it away. But now that you know where everybody's at, maybe NC State for the upset over Marquette is something you might go with. I mean, stranger things have happened. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads or money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all of the shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel, which is programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all of the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you guys for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. You can leave comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter, X, anytime you want. Feedback always welcome and encouraged. We've gotten a lot of it today because of the Dylan Carlson injury, which is just so unfortunate. I'm just so the word dejected that John Denton used in his article today on MLB.com. That's how I feel right now. I'm very dejected. That was one of the really good stories for the Cardinals this spring. And now it's gone. We don't know how long Carlson's going to be out. We'll wait on word. That should be coming to us on Tuesday. But after today's game, which the Cardinals won, by the way, 6-3, it feels like they lost because of what happened. It's unfortunate that we aren't focused on the win, which is something we'll talk about a little bit later. We'll break down what happened in the game. But the Dylan Carlson injury news, top headline, because of how devastating it could be to what the Cardinals lineup is going to look like on Thursday in LA and moving forward. And as far as the play itself goes, most of us know that when it comes to fly balls in the outfield, all right, the center fielder is in charge. He's your traffic cop. He goes and gets everything that he can get his glove on. That's it. That's his job. And if he calls you off, then the outfielder, whether it's a left fielder or a right fielder, is expected to get the hell out of the way and concede the route to the center fielder. You break off, you get out of the way. All right? Like Iceman in Top Gun when Mav is sitting there going, Ice, get the hell out of the way. I got a shot right now. And he finally peels off. You peel off, you get out of the way. This is outfield defense 101 stuff. But I'm not putting the blame on Jordan Walker. Don't get me wrong. Things happen out there in the outfield. Sometimes you can't hear the other player calling you off. Sometimes nobody takes charge and calls anybody off. And then that can lead to, balls falling into the outfield and into the gaps because of miscommunication. Or you get what you got today. You get these disastrous collisions and somebody gets hurt. Jordan Walker and Oli Marmol both spoke with the media. Got a few quotes from them here. We'll start with Walker, who, according to Denton, was apologetic and seemingly on the verge of being emotional when talking with the media afterwards, and he shouldered the bulk of the blame for the collision. Here's the quote from Jordan Walker. Either he called me off and I didn't hear it, or we didn't call each other off at all. Obviously, what we've been taught is with the center fielder, once he calls you off, you stop, and until then, you're giving 100% effort. That's exactly what I was doing. I was giving 100% effort for it. If he called me off, I'm sorry if I didn't hear him because the stadium is really loud. I gave 100% effort trying to catch that ball, and I feel really bad for running into him. I think I saw Carlson too late as well. When I'm diving for that ball, I'm trying to get into his sights there. I think it was just a miscommunication on both of our parts there. It's just really frustrating because Carlson had been swinging the bat so well, and he's already done it defensively. It's just really frustrating on my part, and I just hate that it went down the way that it did today. Again, I'm not blaming Jordan Walker for this. For those of you who are in the comments and in the chat rooms just blasting Walker right now for this, give me a break, man. The kid was trying to catch the ball. Stuff like this happens. Happens all the time in baseball. And it's unfortunate that this time someone got hurt because of it. I'm not mad at either one of them. I'm frustrated by the fact that the Cardinals can't stay healthy, that things just keep happening to them in general. I'm not putting blame on anybody for this. I want them out there. I mean, if they're going to be out there on my team, I want them out there running balls to the wall, giving maximum effort. That's what I want at all times. Those are the types of players you want on your roster. You don't want someone who's half-assing things and loafing for the ball in the outfield. People can get hurt that way too. But that's not what you want. You want guys who hustle and who give a crap, even in spring training, that are trying as hard as they can. And it sucks that it happened in a spring training game, but you can't rip Walker to shreds for trying to make a play, for trying to do his job. It's instinct to dive and try to make that catch. The guy just made an outstanding catch. What was it, Sunday? Diving for a ball in right field, went like full-on Superman for it, caught it. It was beautiful. This time, unfortunately, it didn't work out, and somebody got hurt. Now, here's what Oli had to say about things after the game. Quote, when you get toward the end of spring, you're just trying to make it out healthy, and in those last couple of games, you hope nothing like this happens. Carlson has had a tremendous spring, so hopefully he comes out of this okay, but I'll tell you, he feels banged up with the combination of that left shoulder hitting the ground and his hip and his ankle. I don't have a whole lot of information just yet other than he doesn't feel real good. So what does this mean for the start of the regular season? That's the big question, right? If Dylan comes out of this without anything serious, he's just banged up, a little bit of bruising, going to be sore for a few days, but doesn't need an IL stent, then great. We move on, business as usual. Perhaps he starts on Thursday. If not, if he's too banged up to do that, I would assume it would be Michael Ciani getting the nod in center field. The same Michael Ciani who made an awesome diving catch in center field in this same game today against the Cubs. It was beautiful. He's played really good defense. You know, that's his game. Ciani's game, which I like. You know, I like speed. I like defense. That's one of my favorite parts about the game of baseball. The offense has been where he has struggled at the major league level. Although this spring, I think he's done better than most people anticipated after today's game, hitting 262, got an OBP of 392, thanks to those 8 walks as well. So getting on base, that's great. But if Carlson has to miss time, if it ends up that he goes on the IL to start the season with whatever the injury may be, could this be the Vince Coleman, Albert Pujols-like window of opportunity for Victor Scott II? You know, that was the big debate. You know, Victor Scott, he's been so exciting. Can he stay? Can we keep him? And we talked yesterday about all the great things that he's done this spring. Didn't make the Cardinals' decision to send him back to the minor league camp easy, that's for sure. But their plan, what they would prefer to do, is have him go down to Memphis and play every day, get some reps in against AAA pitching, and grow from there. And if something opens up later on in the season, then great. He's ready to roll. They were not anticipating that something like this would happen. So when you're down, not 1, not 2, but 3 center fielders, why not give him a chance? Right? Why not? Why not give him a chance? You'd still have Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson, Jordan Walker, and Michael Ciani, along with Victor Scott II, who provides you a lot of the same stuff that Ciani does anyway. Great glove, lots of speed, bigger stolen base threat, a little more exciting offensively, could possibly be even a better defender than Michael Ciani is. We really don't know. We know he was really good in the minors. We've seen him this spring, and he was really good out there in center field. Ciani's been great out there as well. And, you know, thinking positive here, maybe he surprises some people at the plate based on what he's done this spring. It's not like, you know, Victor was coming into games in the 7th inning facing AA and AAA pitching. Like, he was leading off games, and he was going up against real major league pitchers and was holding his own, was doing fine. Best case scenario, it's nothing serious with DC. Victor can still get the experience they want him to at AAA. But if not, I don't know how the Cardinals can deny using his talents at the major league level while in this particular pinch. At least until Nootbaar gets back, right? He was swinging still. So could I see the Cardinals bringing somebody else up? Like, who's somebody else on the 40-man? Is Koperniak on the 40-man? I didn't check today what the 40-man was looking like, but could I see the Cardinals doing something else instead of Victor? Yes, I could, because we know what they want to do with Victor Scott. And I don't know if this even alters things all that much. I don't know if it will. They might just bring up another person to ride the pine, but man, it sure would be nice. It sure would be nice to see Victor come up and show off all those skills that we saw this spring at the major league level. It'd be really tough not to do it if I was in John Mozeliak's shoes right now. It'd be really tough if Dylan is going to be out for a little bit. We don't know yet. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but just preparing for the worst. The Cardinals did beat the Cubs today, as I mentioned. We're going to talk about that game. Steven Matz got the start, and we also got a Villain Willie sighting, which was nice. We'll get into it next on Locked On Cardinals. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV stick that you can plug into your existing TV that will provide you access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. Baseball's opening up. We got it on Thursday. I'm excited. College basketball tournaments, men's and women's, underway. Sweet 16. It's wonderful. You're going to want to have a Fire TV so you can see all of this stuff. And Fire TV recently created the Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. All for free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels let you dive into all of the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep you up to date on all your favorite sports, whatever it may be: basketball, football, baseball, hockey, Blues. Tough loss tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. Not to mention, though, even if it's not sports, they've got news, entertainment. What's going on with P. Diddy, man? What is happening there? Gaming, travel, cooking shows, all of that. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. To learn more, visit www.amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. That's www.amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On. They got you covered on all the Shohei stuff. Strange story, right? Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. The Carlson injury, as big of a bummer as it was and is, didn't stop the Cardinals from competing today against the arch rival Chicago Cubs. They didn't all just pack it in and say, all right, Carlson's hurt, let's all go home. No, they played ball today. Steven Matz got the final start of the spring, and I'll say things were inconsistent is a good word for what I saw from Steven Matz today. I think that's a good word to describe it. Had some troubles with outfielder Seiya Suzuki. That was obviously a problem today. Who took him a yard not once, but twice. He also walked him. Both the home runs were solo shots, which, if you're going to give one up, the solo shot is the one you want to give up, right? But the one in the first inning was on a pitch that right over the heart of the plate. It was a bad pitch. And then again in the bottom of the fifth inning, but that ball was up and in. The first one, Matz clearly missed a spot. Just a bad pitch right over the heart of the plate. Not good. Second one, I think Suzuki just beat him to the spot. Like, it was up and in, and he just turned on it. And it happens. The other run off of Matz came in that second inning when Horner tripled on the play that Carlson got injured, and then came home on a sac fly by Michael Busch. Spelled like Busch beer, by the way, Busch. Outside of that, Matz wasn't awful. He wasn't awful. 4 1/3 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. The youngster, the baby of the original starting staff, ends his spring with a lofty 8.16 ERA. But after Matz, the bullpen doing what they've done most of the spring, and that is shut things down. Bullpen combination of Ryan Fernandez, Matthew Liberatore, Riley O'Brien, and Matt Swanson allowed just 1 hit, no runs, didn't walk a single batter over the final 4 2/3 innings. They were awesome. I think this outing all but solidifies Ryan Fernandez's spot on the team. Rule 5 pick, the drill there. Got him from the Boston Red Sox, and if they weren't going to keep him, they have to offer him back to I think I heard that it was like every team gets a shot at him, but they also have to offer him back to the Red Sox, or they got to work on a trade or whatever. I don't think they have to worry about it. Ryan Fernandez, I think, is on this squad. He's earned it, in my opinion. Offensively, the Cardinals, they didn't do much early on against Chicago starter Jordan Wicks. 4 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, struck out 4. He walked 2. The 1 run, though, he did give up, came courtesy of our buddy Masyn Winn, who picked up his first RBI of the spring. Attaboy, Masyn got that in the 2nd inning, drove in Dylan Carlson, who had led off the inning with a walk. It's been a tough go for Masyn, but he was 2 for 3 in today's game, lifted his spring average to 233, which is much more respectable than floating over there right about that Mendoza line. After the Cubs took a 3-1 lead following the 2nd Suzuki home run, the Cardinals tied things up in the 6th inning when former Cub Willson Contreras belted a 2-1 pitch over the wall in right center for his first dinger of the spring. He's got that sweet swing that just has the power to drive it over the wall in the opposite field. You see it a lot out of him. And Villain Willie rising up against his former team. It just makes me feel all warm and tingly in all the right spots. Mentioned Winn with the 2 hits today. Following a leadoff single by Walker, Winn got a double, making it 2nd and 3rd and nobody out in the 7th inning against not some scrub, one of the Cubs' biggest offseason acquisitions in Hector Neris. This was a big deal. And Brendan Donovan doing things that Brendan Donovan does. He may not be a superstar, but he's a good ball player. He grounds the ball out to second base, pulls it over to the right side of the infield, which allows the run to go in. That was the go-ahead run. Cardinals never trailed after that. That was followed by an RBI double by Pedro Pajes to make it 5-3. And then he scored on a single by R.J. Yeager, who I was really hoping I would see him hit a home run this spring so I could call out Yeager bomb, but we'll take the RBI single. I know. Is that too obnoxious, calling it a Jaeger bomb? I think it's fun. Don't at me. And that's how it ended. 6-3 was the final today. The Cardinals moved to 12-12 on the spring. We got one more to go tomorrow against the Cubs. Kyle Gibson will get the start against Shota Imanaga. First pitch will be at 2:05 St. Louis time. Thank you guys for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, do me a solid. Give me a follow on Twitter, X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. We did get to 2,000 followers on Twitter X. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hope we don't lose any and fall back under the 2,000 mark. And then as far as on YouTube, like and subscribe there. Help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. We're at a little over 9,300 subscribers there. We're trying to get to that 10,000 mark. That's a big goal of ours. So like, subscribe. And when you do that, our information gets pushed out a little further for even more Cardinals fans to find us, which is the ultimate goal, to find as many Cardinals fans as we can, to all either grieve together or celebrate together, however things end up. But either way, you're the best fans in baseball for a reason. Hopefully we get good news about Dylan Carlson tomorrow. So I don't know. We'll find out. We'll have an episode tomorrow ready for you. And obviously Twitter X, keep it posted there so that we can get you the latest information as soon as we hear something. Oh, I hope he's okay. We'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals. Have yourself a good one.